How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a good day today. Just getting over a cold that had me down almost a week, but I'm back here to make content, and today I want to share a little bit of my story of why I make this content and why I'm gonna continue to make this content, and hopefully connect these dots in the future so I can really uh, create something that I can really bring youth in and talk to them, especially from that 17 to about 25 range, somewhere in there, something like that. But I want to start this story that I'm going to tell you from when I was 17, because I'm 40 now. So 17, probably with 2001, I was 17, about to graduate high school. And in my opinion, these are the most important years that can set you up or set you back.
Am I right?
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike, and today I'm gonna share this story when I graduated high school. And this where most of the content is based around these years of working in the workforce and trying to figure things out and really not knowing where you're going. You just kind of just moving, learning as you're moving. But I thought to myself as I got older, what if I could go back and tell myself some things that could get me thinking in the right direction? What would I tell myself? Like, what would Mike at 40 go back and tell Mike at 17? And while I was thinking about that, I was like, so why don't I share some of my experiences and thought processes and things that helped me overcome? Because a lot of it may not be the most conventional way, because I'm not a conventional person. So a lot of the things I've done over my lifespan, especially at 17 to 25, or how I learn and do things, and um, may not be like everybody else experience, but definitely an experience. And just want to share with the youth, let them know that you can be from the inner city and still overcome. Because, like you say, the video, shout out to Osiris Bali for putting me in the video. I said I grew up in Southwest. What the whole high school pretty much, like junior high school pretty much in Southwest. So, and it's all about perspective, and it's all about the more exposure you can get when you're younger, so you can kind of prep your mind for after high school when the world kind of opens up to you. Before we get started, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help us grow, help us reach 1K, and let's grow together. Bingo. So I graduated from John L. McClellan High School, class of 2001. I come from a working family. Mom, mostly single parent home. Mom worked two jobs most of my youth years. Very hard worker. In fact, that's where I got my work ethic from, was from her. Well, we were not rich. We were not poor. We wasn't poor. We had enough to get by. And when I started working, probably after ninth grade, going to 10th grade, tried to contribute as much as I can, especially when I was in 11th grade, going into my senior year, contributed as much as I could, help moms out. The reason I start from 17 is these years are when the choices and decisions count towards your future results. So things you invest your time in, like I said, if you can pick your clothes out, match your colors, and know what you're doing, uh, accountability really starts at that point because your parents can't go with you everywhere. You're doing almost adult things, if not adult things, at that point when you in high school, because you can be charged as an adult. You have to understand those kind of things. Criminal activity, you gotta be careful about that. You gotta be careful about relationships with girls. You gotta be careful about that. Even when you start making money, you gotta be careful about money management as well. So many things to think about when you're in that 17, when you start becoming a man. You don't realize it, and I will tell you that what you spend your time on will have an impact on your future. So, a lot of times when you graduate, this is just my opinion, things, how my circumstance was, you really hanging out a lot because you get tired of dealing with school. You just feel like you was kind of bottled in. But when you graduate, you kind of get to be in your own space and hang around who you want to hang around at that point. You surround yourself with who you surround yourself with. And older people always tell you, be careful. Don't get with the wrong crowd. Don't hang around the wrong people. Be careful who you roll with. Because sometimes you can be grouped in by association without even trying. So you have to think about what you're doing. You really got to have some thought into it. So before I went into the job force, I thought about a couple things. I thought about going to school, and I thought about going to a trade, being a massage therapist. But once I looked at how much it costs, it kind of shied me away from it. And I think what I want to do in the future, even with this content, is let kids know that there are options, but you have to sit down and look at all the options in front of you and make those decisions. Especially now, since the internet's available, there's more information out there to help you with understanding about financing, financial aid, all those other things. And you really just have to sit down, look at all the options in front of you, things that you can do, and then make a decision, make a strategy, and stick to the strategy. So I didn't do that, but that's what I would recommend, especially now in today's time. If you're not going a scholarship in sports, as a regular person, you have to think about what's the plan for my life going forward. What's my post plan to educate myself, get myself in a nice career, and increase my chances of success. Me, I went right into the job force and kept bouncing around every 4 years looking to increase pay. I didn't go to school. I'm gonna find my old resume and I'm gonna go over some of those jobs that I worked. I didn't even think about school till an unfortunate event happened, but that's what I did. And it wasn't until later into my job journey, working jobs and stuff. I think I was started working at the hospital, and people would say, "You know what? You should go to school. Why haven't you went to school yet?" And I used to kind of shy away from it, be like, "Nah, I don't know if I want to go to school. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. I haven't picked a major yet. I don't know." I used to always have a reason to just shy away from it, like I don't really want to go. And I think one reason was I didn't understand the process of going to school, and the second part of it is I just didn't even take the time out to look. Just being lazy on that aspect. Sometimes you can work and have a high work ethic, but as far as the ethic of understanding and researching information, not everybody has that part built into their skill set or their wheelhouse. And that's what we want to teach our youth is to sit them down, have them come together. Let's talk about all of the options of what you need to be thinking about when you graduate. Because the thing I really want to drive home is the more you can understand on how to find a job that benefits you, not just monetary wise, but also in other ways that you can gain valuable skills while you're working, or some kind of benefit or discount on some post education while you're working there. So it's not just monetary. You want to find a job to give you as much benefits as possible, especially when you're young. And you want to find something that can give you some kind of post education skill. Like if you work at a hospital, you could do. They have a medical school you could go to learn how to be. You don't have to be a doctor. You could be a nurse. You can be all. It's a lot of things you can be. Because what's gonna happen is when you work a job, you're only gonna make so much. It's a scale. And what I want you to do is look at the highest person at the place that you work. Let's say you work at a retail place or Walmart. Um, they were saying that they was gonna raise the store manager pay. I think I read an article to 180. So if the store manager is making 180, that means everything else fall up under that. If the supervisor, let's say the supervisor is making 50, that means that if you don't get to the supervisor level, you won't get over 50,000 working at a job. You know, it's levels to it. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see me show you this kind of pyramid, how this thing works. But realize that working jobs is only gonna pay you so much. Or you're gonna work so much time, like overtime and all that. You're gonna work your regular time, 8 hours plus another 8 hours or something like that. You're working at a factory, so you're working almost 16 hours. But the pay that you're making is still what, $13, $14 an hour. But you thinking you making a lot of money, but they taking so much time for you to in order for you to make that money. And what I would say is, from my experience, before I realized it, when I started working in a career field, most career jobs pay you what you would make working regular time plus overtime, but you're only working 8 hours a day if you get in the right career field. That's from my experience. This is why I make the content, is I want to reach out to the youth. Like I said, they're 17 to 25, even somebody maybe 25 to 40. To prime, keep their minds primed on learning to increase their value. Increase your value, man. Go get it. Because if you don't, go get it. You'll be leaving money on the table, leaving skills on the table. And you'll always find yourself playing catch up. Every 4 years, 5 years, you know, the market either is going to increase or reset or balance out, and you want to be able to capitalize every five, I think it may be even shorter than that. They ain't saying 2 to 3 years, but most jobs don't give out 10% raises and stuff like that. You really got to get in a good career field in order to make that happen. So most, especially living in Little Rock, most jobs only what they bring you in at is kind of what you locked in at. And the only way that you get a raise is if you move to another position that pays 10% or 20% more, however you increase your skill while you're in that position. And I think, well, one thing I did a lot, even though I don't regret it, but I just did it a lot just from my hindsight, is I was hanging out a lot. I worked and I hung out on my free time. Worked, kicked it with my boys on my free time. Worked, hung out on my free time. Then that's when you start talking to girls more. So work, talk to girls, hang out with my boys, then probably talk to some more girls or whatever. You start doing that, and you stop focusing on bettering yourself. At least I did. And that's the thing why I say I want to get back to I want to keep them primed on that. I want to make a place where they can come and keep them. Like, let's say, get a group of kids out of high school and they don't know how to fill out for a college application. They don't understand the process. They don't understand how to do FAFSA. They need a place to come do that. Everybody don't have a computer at home. Everybody don't have the internet. But eventually, I'm gonna make a place in Southwest that kids can come to, and they can get all the information, and they can have a place to fill out and get those things done. And make a checklist. You need to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G done. You want to learn about apprenticeship? Come here after school. Let's talk about it. What apprenticeship do you want to be? What are you good at? And let's get you signed up. Let's get you pointed in the direction of where the apprenticeships are in Little Rock, so we can have you already prepared. So once you graduate, all you doing is just staying on the plan and not get caught up in that cycle of just working, hanging out with girls. And at this point, I think what, about 18, 19, once you start just going through the cycle of just doing the same thing over and over, just spending money on bills, clothes, cars, speakers, going on dates with girls, stuff like that. And that's pretty much, if you don't, you leave people to their own vices, I guess. Most people do. Let's see, I worked many a jobs, and I always targeted like the cool, easy jobs that pay some little bit of money, or what I thought was paying money at the time, and trying to avoid dealing with micromanagers if possible.
Am I right?
One of the worst jobs you can work is working with a micromanager, and that's a whole nother topic within itself. But I would always find like there was a point where I worked some crazy jobs earlier. I'm about to find a resume. I said I worked at tire shops, I worked at detail shops, worked at a restaurant. Then I started, when I got on at the hospital, everything, I started finding jobs like that, being a courier, delivering blood or moving blood. Easy stuff. It's nothing hard about being a courier at all. It was just easy money pretty much. And that's why my mindset was easy money, hang out with the brothers, talk to the girls, repeat the cycle, wash, rinse, repeat. Do it all over again. So I've always been one of those people, is that I would always, I would never show everything that I did, or I would play down what I really am, because a lot of times when you show who you really are, it brings about a different kind of, some, not all the time, but sometimes it brings a different kind of tension or attention to you that you don't want, or sometimes it brings extra work your way, because if they know that you're brilliant, they know that you can do it, they will assign it to you. So sometimes you just play up to the bar that you set. And the thing we should say in the hood is, you don't want to set a bar too high. You want to start off with a low bar so you can kind of gauge on the job and see where they put you at. And you get a cool job and you set a nice bar, you know, you be at a good place. And then and then you don't have a micromanager. I've always had, once I got on at the hospital, I really had mostly jobs that you manage your own time, and uh, nobody follows you around. It was mostly, you had to manage your own time or do things on your own pace. And I used to always find jobs. I guess my personality attracted jobs like that, but that was mostly a lot of the jobs that I had though. But I gotta say that when I started working jobs, that was probably the best thing, is that I had to learn about dealing with people on different levels. What I mean by that is learning how to deal with different people, be have a diverse mindset. Because when you from Southwest, you're really dealing with two types of people, apples and oranges. The further you move from Southwest, you start dealing with the whole fruit bowl, apple, oranges, bananas, grapes, all kind of stuff. So we're not used to it. It's kind of weird at first, but learning to understand different cultures and different people really helps you be a balanced person when dealing with people. Because Southwest hate, somebody hating on you in Southwest, is going to be different than corporate hate. Corporate hate is more subtle. Um, Sometimes people don't like you just because you do something good. They may not like you. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but it's real though. Um, some people don't like you because you tall. I don't know. It's all kind of people have some weird stuff on how they deal with life, and sometimes you just be the person that walk by them and be in a crosshair just like that. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to teach our youth that how to deal with shade and hate that comes your way that you're not even asking for. Because sometimes when you bring it up, people think you're complaining. They say that it's probably you. And that's one thing as a minority man, black man, people don't understand is when you're trying to grow and move up, but you got to deal with, biases and, pre-notions and judgments and stuff like that. It take a lot mentally to overcome that and be able to navigate through that and not feel like, uh that's how the world is, because it's not all like that, but it could seem like at different points in your life that it could be like that. I've been there. And I also learned through the years of head bumps and situations on how I had to make adjustments on what I'm presenting in the corporate world. Like I had to work on mic. It was things that I just didn't know, and it was my kind of mentality and personality is very nonchalant, very laid back. Um, I'm not I'm not an OCD person. So I guess everybody has OCD to an extent, but I'm saying I'm not the person that's gonna be unbearable to the team. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very team oriented person, but I understand too that in the corporate world those adjustments you got to make, because sometimes you can start out as a team, but when it comes to accountability, sometimes it could be every man for himself until things are restored. Then it's back to team again. You know what I'm saying? So, something we got to teach our youth as well how to navigate that corporate space. From 1 minute you're a team, the next minute you're on your own, then next minute it's back to team again. So this is just introductory to who am I, and I'm going to be making videos talking about how I got into IT. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear those stories about, I worked just about every level of IT. I've worked help desk. I've worked at the networking, router, and switch level. I've worked the systems, the server level. And now I'm working on the back end, web development level with um, HTML, PHP, stuff like that. And I'm actually going to school for web development as well. So, but definitely a lot of stories about how I got into IT. But I want to talk about what led me to get into IT. But I really wanted to share the story first, and I'll talk about on the next one what led me into IT. But this video, I wanted to make sure that I talked about, hey, I grew up in the inner city. I want the youth to know. I want everybody to know that. So I grew up in a single parent home. When I said my dad died when I was 12 years old. And if I can make it, if I can overcome, you can too. Was I perfect? No. Did I get a therapist? I did not. I'm not. I think if you can afford therapy, I think people should get therapy. But I didn't get therapy. Um, I met this guy named Jesus, and through time and through learning the word, it's definitely helped me as an individual. Helped me become a better family man. Helped me become a better son. Helped me become a better father, husband, all that. And I just want to tell the youth that uh, don't allow somebody to stop you from improving yourself. Don't allow perception or don't allow what people may think to stop you from putting yourself in position to better yourself. So I just want to come by and give you a story of where I came from, why I'm making the content. Let me know in the comments if you like what you hear so far. And there will be more to come. I'm gonna really work on being more consistent this year. And I really wanna get ready to start going around talking to kids, high school level, probably start out like talking to them about, getting ready for life after high school. What's the adult life like? Because there are things that a lot of gaps that's not filled. I want to bring them in and start connecting dots. So when you graduate, all the dots may not be connected, but you can at least have the first few dots connected. Then you can make a strategy to kind of run off of and stick with the strategy and connect those other dots. But this is Mike. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Help me grow. Mike Flair Motivation. The Flamingo. Bingo. And I'm signing out.